At some point, you are going to play GTA 5 for the last time. You probably will not know it is the last time. You will steal a car, flick through the radio, drive down a road you know better than streets in your own neighborhood, and close the game like you have done 100 times before. Then GTA 6 will take over. The group chat will move on. A few names on your friends list will stop appearing. Months later, a song from Non-Stop Pop FM or Radio Mirror Park will play somewhere in real life, and Los Santos will come rushing back all at once. For years, GTA 5 has been the game we joked would never leave. We complained about buying it again, watched it survive console after console, and begged Rockstar to give us somewhere new. Now GTA 6 is scheduled for November 19th, 2026, and the closer Vice City gets, the more Los Santos starts to feel like a place we are leaving behind. That is the part we have underestimated. We think we are waiting to replace an old game. What we are really preparing to lose is a time capsule filled with 13 years of our lives. Rockstar released GTA 5 on September 17th, 2013 for the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. Think about what that means. Some people picked it up at a midnight launch. Some borrowed it from an older brother. Some had parents who refused to buy it, so they experienced the entire game through YouTube videos until they were old enough to play it themselves. The first hours felt enormous. North Yankton gave us snow, masks, sirens, and a mystery. Then the game dropped us into the bright Los Santos sun with Franklin and Lamar. 2 cars, a city that seemed impossibly large, and the feeling that every road might lead to something you had never seen before. Even the little things felt futuristic. The character switching animation pulled the camera into the sky and dropped you into another life. Cars had weight. Pedestrians had conversations. Mountains sat beyond the skyline like a promise. On hardware from 2005 and 2006, Rockstar had built a world that looked too big to fit inside the box. By May 2026, GTA 5 had sold nearly 230 million units and crossed 3 console generations. That number is almost too large to feel real. It hides the more interesting truth because every one of those copies belonged to a different version of somebody. One player was 18 and fresh out of high school when it launched. Another got the game for a childhood birthday. Someone else was approaching 21 in 2013 and realized during the 10th anniversary that 31 was now around the corner. People do not describe GTA 5 with dates. They describe it with who they were. That is why Los Santos feels different from a normal open world. We did not simply learn the map. We absorbed it. You know the turnout of Los Santos International Airport. You know the shortcut through the storm drain. You know where the freeway bends towards sandy shores where the police usually lose you in the hills, and how long the drive from the city to Mount Chiliad feels when nobody in the car is talking. You can picture Vespucci Beach at sunset, the lights around the Diamond Casino at night, the dusty roads near Trevor's trailer, and the exact stretch of highway where someone in your crew always managed to crash. There are players who need a map to reach places in their own town, but could drive from Del Perro to Paleto Bay without looking at the minimap once. And then there is the music. GTA 5 launched with 17 in-game radio stations, but those stations became more than a soundtrack. They became memory triggers. A song that once played during a random drive can bring back an apartment you lived in, the controller you used, the person sitting beside you, or the year when you had nothing more urgent to do than see how far a stolen car could fly off a mountain. You may not remember what mission you were preparing for, but you remember the feeling of changing stations until the right song came on. You remember Cara Delevingne talking between tracks on Non-Stop Pop FM, the haze of Radio Mirror Park, the old-school confidence of West Coast classics, and the strange calm of Los Santos rock radio, while the city turned orange outside the windshield. That radio dial quietly turned GTA 5 into one of the longest playlists of our lives. The story mode gave the city a face. Franklin wanted a bigger life, but had no clear path toward it. Michael had everything he once chased and hated, the person he became after getting it. Trevor was chaos with a pulse, funny one moment and genuinely frightening the next. The 3-character system let GTA 5 jump between ambition, regret, and complete insanity without asking permission. One minute you were driving through South Los Santos with Lamar. The next, Michael was arguing with his family in Rockford Hills. Then the camera crossed the entire map and found Trevor, waking up in a place you definitely did not want, explained. The missions became shared reference points. The first jewelry store robbery, the trip to North Yankton, the torture mission people still debate, the final push toward the Union Depository, Lamar roasting Franklin, Lester calling with another plan, Michael sitting in therapy and somehow being the least honest person in the room. The story has flaws, and fans have argued about them for more than a decade. Some wanted more depth, some preferred the darker tone of GTA 4, some never liked switching between three protagonists. But familiarity has a way of softening old complaints. We now know these characters so well that returning to story mode feels less like starting a campaign and more like visiting people who have been frozen in the same strange week since 2013. GTA Online was different. GTA Online grew up in public, and at first it could barely stand. It launched on October 1st, 2013 with server problems, endless clouds, missing progress, and players wondering whether the character they had just created would still exist the next morning. Rockstar patched the game and later offered qualifying players $500,000 in-game as a stimulus package. At the time, it felt like an apology for a rough launch. Looking back, even that chaos has become part of the mythology. Early GTA Online was almost innocent compared with what came later. Owning a high-end apartment felt like success. The Adder looked like the final car you would ever need. Players ran contact missions, robbed convenience stores, repeated rooftop rumble, and argued about whether the entity XF or Zentorno was better. Money was harder to earn, which made everything feel important. Your first garage mattered. Your first supercar mattered. Even the free elegy felt special because it was yours. You did not own a submarine, a flying motorcycle, a nightclub, an agency, an arcade, and enough military hardware to occupy a small country. You had an apartment, a car, a gun, and a friend who claimed he knew a money glitch. Then the original heists arrived in March 2015, and GTA Online became the game many people had imagined from the beginning. 4 players, assigned roles, trying to hold a plan together while one person forgot how parachutes worked. The Prison Break, Humane Labs, Series A, and the Pacific Standard job gave crews stories they would repeat for years. After that, Los Santos kept expanding. Players became executives, bikers, smugglers, nightclub owners, casino thieves, island infiltrators, street racers, and celebrity problem solvers. Cayo Perico finally allowed a major heist to be played solo. The contract brought Franklin back as an older man with an agency of his own. Los Santos tuners gave car culture a new home. Every update left another layer on a city that had already become familiar. Even now, with GTA 6 only months away, Rockstar is preparing another GTA Online score, the Court Center heist. Los Santos is not fading quietly. It is still handing us one more job before we leave. And before we get to the real reason GTA Online lasted longer than anyone expected, one quick thing. A lot of people keep coming back for these GTA stories without subscribing. If this video has already brought back a username you have not seen online in years, subscribe so the next story finds its way back to you. Because the updates were never the part that mattered most, but the updates are not the real reason GTA Online lasted. The people are. Read through fan threads about favourite memories and the pattern becomes obvious. Players rarely lead with the amount of money they earned. They remember the random person who stayed for every setup. They remember the crew that spent an entire night failing the same finale and laughing harder after every mistake. They remember car meets that started with 2 people and ended with half the lobby cruising together. One player met a stranger during the Humane Labs missions and was still playing with that person years later. Another remembered a crew member saying they would be back tomorrow, then never appearing in GTA or any other game again. Someone wrote that Facebook friendship anniversaries with their real-life friends are filled with screenshots of their GTA characters doing ridiculous things. There are heavier memories too. One player posted a tribute to a friend who had died after years of playing and completing heists together. The message was simple. Tell your GTA friends you care about them, even when the friendship exists through headsets and loading screens. That is where this game became larger than Rockstar's map. Some friendships only existed in Los Santos. But that did not make them imaginary. You knew their voice, their sense of humour, the car they always drove, and the exact tone they used when a mission was about to go wrong. You may never have learned their last name, yet you spent hundreds of nights together. For a lot of players, the real map of GTA Online was the friends list. Some names were busy streets, some were quiet neighborhoods, some disappeared without warning, and you still noticed the empty space where they used to be. The loading screens, the phone calls, the random who failed the heist after everyone else played perfectly, the griefer circling the map on an oppressor, the mission that refused to start, the car that vanished, the update that broke something nobody knew could break. GTA 5 gave us plenty to complain about. GTA Online became expensive, crowded, and absurd. Prices inflated, menus multiplied, public lobbies could turn into war zones before you reached the first intersection. There were days when the game seemed determined to waste your time. But shared frustration becomes a story once enough time passes. The 5-minute loading screen becomes the moment everyone went to get snacks. The failed finale becomes funnier than the successful run. The terrible driver becomes the friend whose name still makes the group laugh. Even the glitches become proof that you were there when the game was still changing under everyone's feet. Old GTA Online also had space for boredom, and boredom was where the best memories happened. The objective might have been a mission, but the night could turn into rooftop BMX attempts, airport drag races, improvised police chases, or 90 minutes spent trying to place a bicycle on top of Maze Bank Tower. Nobody planned those memories. They happened because the game gave friends a city and enough freedom to waste time together. That may be what GTA 5 represents more than anything else. Time we were allowed to waste. It survived the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. It followed us to the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, then the PC, then another console generation. Some players went from school to university to full-time jobs while the same yellow mission markers waited in the same streets. Some moved houses, changed countries, got married, became parents, or lost people they once played with. During difficult years, Los Santos was still there. During lockdowns, players returned, and the city produced one of its strangest community moments when groups dressed as green and purple aliens turned public lobbies into chaotic gang wars. It was ridiculous, spontaneous, and exactly the kind of event nobody could manufacture on purpose. GTA 5 did not stay relevant because every part remained fresh. It stayed because it was available whenever a group needed somewhere to meet. You could disappear for 2 years, reinstall the game, and within minutes, remember the roads. City waited without asking where you had been. That kind of permanence is rare now. Games launch, dominate the conversation, and vanish from the front page. GTA 5 became background architecture. It was so constant that we stopped seeing how strange its presence really was. A child who watched the first trailer can now be an adult with a job and a family. Someone who was already an adult in 2013 may have lived through several different lives since then. GTA 5 was there for all of them, wearing new graphics and offering new businesses, but still opening on the same skyline. GTA 6 will almost certainly make Los Santos feel old. Vice City and the wider state of Leonida will be newer, denser, more detailed, and filled with discoveries we cannot predict yet. Jason and Lucia will become the names everyone talks about. The first drive through that world will be one of the biggest moments. Gaming has seen in years we should be excited we have waited long enough, but a new game can give us a new map. It cannot give us 2013 again. It cannot make your old crew log in at the same time. It cannot recreate the first night you realized 4 friends could spend 6 hours doing absolutely nothing and still call it a great session. Eventually, GTA 5 will become what San Andreas and Vice City became for earlier generations. Younger players will call it the old one. They will laugh at details that once looked unbelievable. They will ask why anyone accepted those loading times. We will tell them they had to be there. And for once, that answer will be completely true. The difference is that GTA 5 did not belong to one short era. It stretched across childhoods, teenage years, college years, careers, relationships, lockdowns, and 3 console generations. It stayed long enough to collect pieces of people's lives. So before GTA 6 arrives, take one drive through Los Santos without starting a mission. Use the car you loved before every vehicle needed missiles. Put on the radio station you always chose. Pass the first apartment you saved for. Drive by the garage where your old crew took screenshots. Head north as the city lights disappear behind you. Maybe nothing dramatic will happen. That is the point. One day, Los Santos will stop feeling like the present and start feeling like a photograph. The skyline will look smaller, the roads will feel quieter, the names on the friends list will matter more than the cars in the garage. We will not miss GTA 5 because it was perfect. We will miss it because it stayed long enough to become attached to people, places, songs, jokes, and versions of ourselves that no update can bring back. We spent years asking when Rockstar would finally let us leave Los Santos. Now that the exit is in sight, we are going to realize how much of us is still there.